are talking about cleansing. We're going to answer all of your questions because it's a hot topic. People are cleansing sometimes left, right, and center all year round. But as you follow Simply Seasonal, hopefully you have found out that spring is the best time to cleanse. So this is the time when we want to do our yearly cleanse, clear things out, and then we don't have to worry about it for the rest of the year.
If you tried cleansing as your New Year's resolution, so many times I see people are like, it's New Year's, I'm doing this juice fast and blah, 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 I'm going to start and like all my salads and like, that is such a failure.
I know.
Because your body doesn't want it then. But like right now, if you try something like this that is very good for your body now, your body's going to thank you and love it and just be eating it up. It's going to be so much easier.
Right. That's the whole thing is like it's easy because during January 1st, you're still
struggle.
in that winter and it's a struggle.
Yeah.
And people think like, oh, diets are a struggle or eating well is a struggle or whatever because they have that idea, and it's not true. It's they're doing it at the wrong time, so of course it's going to be a struggle. But like we've talked about,
so hop on Simply Seasonal because we're giving you the right time to do it, and it's going to feel effortless. It's going to feel, gosh, like that lightning feeling, which is exactly what you need right now, and how it feels outside right now. And we get to feel that inside, and it's exactly the balance we need.
Yeah, so we went through like a few different ways that you can cleanse. And like we were saying before too, you know, there's, if you feel really depleted or you're really cold or you just have like, you know, chronic fatigue, maybe doing an extreme cleanse or fast isn't right for you right now. If you're feeling like hot, excessive, have allergies, heart condition, anything like that, like a cleanse is going to be so good for you. So just listen to your body. Hey, Tess.
Hey, Tess.
Nice to see you.
Yeah, I mean, and if you guys read my blog, like for year, this is the first year I've actually felt like I've been fighting a lot of illness through my life, and not even realizing and categorizing it as illness. I'm realizing, you know, it's just like things that, but my body was depleted and I was always like barely holding on. And this is the first year where I actually was like I couldn't sleep. I'm like, I need to cleanse. And it was so cool because I recognized that my body was built up enough and strong enough that it's ready for like more of an extreme cleanse. I shouldn't say, I mean, I definitely would go times in my life where I would eat more vegetarian or something like that, but like more of a lighter cleanse. But so yeah, so if you're gonna go do something extreme, just know, listen to your body. No, don't do it because it's trendy. Do it because your body's asking you to do it, right?
Yeah. Hey, Catherine. Nice to see you. Yeah, and so like we were saying, so kind of the more traditional, and this is something too we didn't really touch too much on in the episode, was just when you look at this time of year, you see a lot of religions, like this is Lent in the Christian religion, you know, like Ramadan is coming up as well, and
they all have Passover. They all have a fasting.
There's a fasting, and so that was started even before these religions were really put together. It was happening even before then that people would fast and give their body a break from eating because it would clear their body out, give it a break, improve their health, their life expectancy and longevity, and even increase their mental clarity. So then when these religions kind of came together, they were like, oh, we can gain so much more mental clarity when we cleanse. And so that's like what Jesus did for 40 days. That's what Buddha did. That's what Muhammad, like,
and I love the point you brought up to me about Jesus going into the desert for 40 days, that was a choice. It wasn't like he was like forced out.
Like so, growing up as a Christian, they kind of make you feel guilty about it. They're like, he suffered for 40 days. And you're like, no, he did it on purpose so that he could gain more mental clarity and speak to God. Like so that was a normal practice back then. But nowadays they're like, oh my God, he must have suffered.
Yeah.
No, I think that's pretty cool. That's not how it was. Yeah, so there's like the fasting. We just did the Master Cleanse, which is a form of a fast. And so it's the lemon water, lemon juice, water, cayenne, and maple syrup. So we did that for 3 days a couple weeks ago. And
it was intense, yeah. And the hardest part is that you're not eating. I never got hungry. The lemon and the maple syrup it somehow kept my hunger. Like my stomach never growled, which I was shocked because
amazing.
I don't eat my lunch in time and my stomach starts freaking out and I'll be like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get low blood sugar. I start freaking out. So I was nervous to do it, but I was really amazed at how the lemon water really kept everything at bay. And the hardest part was just not physically chewing,
eating.
And I also realized how much my life revolves around food. I'm reading about food, learning about food, writing about food. And so it was like, what do I do for 3 days if I can't focus on food? So, the lemon water does take some preparation. So that took some time in the day.
Right. And that's also, you kind of realize like you might be going to bed early because you're like, all right, well, we're not eating dinner, so maybe we just go to bed now, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
And then
you sleep really deep.
You sleep really deep. You do get more mental clarity. All of that. So it just gives your body a break. So that's a version of it. And then you can back up from there. You could do juicing as a similar type of thing. That's more of, but you're getting in the nutrients of the juice. Right, and so vegetables in general, which we're going to talk a little bit about, is they're just energetically clearing and cleansing, and it's all about moving things through. So if you're doing,
that's the common theme in all of these.
Is you're
moving.
bringing in. You're not like doing nothing because that's just going to keep that stagnant energy. The whole goal is to increase movement. So you're bringing in tons of water, tons of that lemon stuff, or tons of juices or smoothies or whatever you're doing, or even if you're just eating a vegetarian diet or vegan diet for a month, you're eating like 10 times more than you normally would, and it's all veggies. So
if I have like a meal where, if I'm at the rodeo and I eat something nasty there, because when at the rodeo do that, the next day it's like, don't just not eat at all. I think about clearing and moving through. So we want to like keep moving everything through, right? It's like, don't just not eat, which I see a lot of people, oh no, I can't eat anything today, I was terrible yesterday. It's like, no, that means you have to eat more. You have to eat more. Just get all those greens through you, wash it through you.
And
juice. That's what's gonna help. And we talked about that, right? Like, so we want to move tons and tons of greens through our body this spring, just to help cleanse and clear. So that is the main idea. And so like juicing and smoothies, these help us get tons and tons of greens in an easier way, because it does get tiring to eat as many. You should be eating like 2 giant platefuls of greens a day. That's a lot of greens. So that's a lot to chomp on. It's like tiring. So
it's like heaven for you.
I love it. Right, because I want to chomp on something. Yeah. And another thing we talked about, so it's more of like the shift. So, right. So, for instance, you guys see like the bowls we kind of put together, the Buddha bowl. So my Buddha bowl in the winter has a grain base, and then with greens, maybe some cooked greens and vegetables on top, and then my toppings, my avocados and sauerkrauts and all that stuff. Well, in the spring, that shifts, and that base layer becomes a bed of greens. And then maybe I'll put a little bit of grains on top, just to fill me up a little bit more, and more veggies and all my toppings and avocado and all that stuff. So it's just that shift of proportion.
It's so cool. It makes sense because you're going like grains and warming in winter. Now it's spring, you kind of do more half and half, mostly greens and some grains. And then we get to summer and it's like all greens. So it makes total sense.
And you're okay with that. Like right now I'm eating a full green salad. If I don't put something else on it, I'm like, I'm still kind of hungry a little bit.
Because it's like
not as satisfied.
Hot. It's like sometimes it's cold, sometimes it's warm. So you're kind of balancing with both of those foods.
And I'm doing a ton of stir fries. This week I've just been trying to encapture that vegetarian diet, and it's been so easy. You just focus on what's seasonal, take those veggies, throw them in the pan. It's literally like a 20-minute meal, and it's just like Buddha bliss, It's just all these veggies, and you can eat and eat and eat as many as you want of them and not feel guilty at all.
Yeah. And one other thing we wanted to address, because it's gotten, again, really trendy, is the intermittent fasting. So if you guys have heard of that, that's people are like, oh, that's my diet and I lost this much weight on it. So something that a teacher that both of us study under, and I've been studying under her kind of extensively for 2 or 3 years, Andrea Beeman, she said, intermittent fasting, it's fasting, but it's what you are doing every night anyway, right? So breakfast is breaking a fast, right? Because you should be fasting between like 6 o'clock and at least like 6 or 7 the next day. So you should be going like 12 hours without eating. But what happens is again, in our modern world, we're eating till really late, like late at night. And then maybe sometimes people have like midnight snacks or something before they go to bed. And then they wake up and then they eat again. And they're not even getting like 10 hours or 8 hours without food. They're kind of eating constantly. So really...
And that's a very healthy intermittent fasting.
Yes,
just doing a daily big
12 hours
where your body's
no
resting,
eating.
sleeping, taking care of everything. In Ayurveda, they say most of your food should be eaten between 10 and 2 p.m., 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. So if you can eat most of your food in the middle of the day, that's when your body is the hottest, your pitta is on fire, and your digestion is like moving and working during those times. So, and think about it, if you go out for a big lunch, like most of us just kind of like pick throughout the day and don't stop to eat a lunch. But if you go and eat like a big proper lunch, you think about it, that at dinner comes, you're like, I'm not even hungry. Like you're
but
just
sometimes
like,
you'll eat anyway because it's such a practice. It's a social practice and whatever. But it's like you don't need to eat. So intermittent fasting, of course, people are taking it more to the extremes. Like they won't eat until noon the next day. And sure, you could call that a version of a fast. But again, we never recommend doing any of these fasts or cleanses for a long period of time. This is just a short period of time to give your body a break, clear through what it needs, and add it back in. Because if you don't, your body's, again, even though you're cleansing, is going to start slowing down and storing because it's not getting what it needs, right? So pick your window of
if your
time.
body thinks that you're in starvation mode, it's going to start holding on to things because it won't know when it's going to get its, next energy. So it's going to start holding. So you need to let your body know that, like, nope, we got it, just let go. And so that's the idea. The other thing we talked about was using gluten-free as a cleanse. So do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so this is a great time of year to cut gluten out of your diet, whether you think you're intolerant or not, because it is affecting all of us. It's genetically modified, so it's something
it's a third world or a first world problem.
First world problem, it really is. Gluten itself, there's nothing wrong. It's been genetically modified and 4 times the size, so our body can't digest it. That's the issue. So it's a modern technology issue. So it's affecting all of us. So that is a good thing to give a break from. And if you were to cut out carbohydrates in general, this is the time where you could do that for a period of time. Because again, like I've said before in the past, this is the season of the liver. The liver holds glucose stores, and grains are very high in glucose and very, very important for the body. And again, wintertime, we eat a lot of them. The body's storing it because it needs that energy. But during the spring, we want to clear out. So gluten is a good thing to help just give the body a break, clear it out. Carbohydrates, cut down on those during this period of time just to let the body clear out as well. And like Cara was saying, use up the storage that you built in the winter, use it up now. And like Cara was saying, that's when you're bringing in half veggies, half grains, you're kind of like, so this is the time of year to do that. And gluten too is pesky, and it can even be like in your chemical
and
products.
If you have any right. So if you have any intolerance to it, right, that's one good point, is check your products, because there's a lot of shampoos and lotions and all these products that actually have gluten in them. So if you're having a gluten intolerance or issues with gluten, make sure you're checking your products as well, because if you have a reaction to it or any of these, now let's just go into like toxins in general. I mean, a toxin is basically something that your body doesn't know how to digest. So it's any like non-food chemical or particle. There's so many of them in our air, in our water. We are overloaded with it, especially in modern society. And so your body is gonna have this attack on it. I mean, your immune system needs to go after it because it doesn't know it's like an intruder. So like if you have an intolerance to gluten, your body's going after the gluten as an intruder. So not only taking that out, but when you take all these unnecessary toxins out, you're really giving your body a chance. So, and if you struggle with any sort of situations, autoimmune or allergies, or goes on. If your body is weakened in any way, which we all have our thing, right? Like, what's your thing? We all have our weak spot. And I always say that, like, something's gonna get you. When a bug gets you, it looks for its opportunity, and your weak spot is where it's gonna get you. We always have like our one thing, like whether it's a respiratory thing, or maybe it goes viral, or maybe it just triggers whatever your weakness is. And so we need to dilute these toxins out of our bodies so that our bodies can work on our bodies and not work on...
Because it's adding to the congestion, right? Yeah. So like it's congested from just breathing in our toxic air. Here in Houston, we just had a refinery on fire. Mm-hmm. That's awesome and lovely. Like we have cancerous particles in the air. We're breathing that in, right? So we really need to make sure that we're supporting our detoxification organs, like our liver. We talk a lot about that, but it's not just the liver either. Your skin is the biggest detoxification organ in your whole body. So what we're putting on our skins, right? Our lotions, even our shampoos. So like if we're kind of in that, a habit of going to the grocery store and getting kind of the cheap bottles on sale that you've been using for years, just know those are full of chemicals, and you're putting them on you when you're like really warm in the shower, so it's going to be absorbing into
even
your
more.
Skin
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So these are things that we want to clean up. So again, if you don't do an actual fast or cleanse, you can clean up your life in a lot of ways. The cleaning products, the things that you're putting on your skin, your makeups, making sure that they're as low in endocrine disruptors and maybe hopefully no endocrine disruptors. That's a chemical base that messes with your hormones.
And a big one is perfumes and fragrances. These are huge endocrine disruptors, and so
Febreze, all that crap.
Oh my gosh, anything smelly.
Candles.
And so my body, since it's weakened, if I have a candle that has artificial like perfume in or whatever fragrance, I will light it and I'll get nauseous right away. Like I just can't even handle it. So that's how much. That doesn't happen for everybody, but with my sensitive body, I could feel it like that intensely, which is really interesting. Which dryer sheets is a big one, where it's like you bring out the dry hot clothes and like, oh, it's hot, like there's a lot of chemicals in there. So something you can do is get these dryer balls. I bought mine at Marshall's. Where did you get yours?
Amazon.
Okay, yeah. So you just take they're like wool, these wool, they're made out of wool. Yeah, and you just throw them in the dryer. And I have no static cling, and I want my laundry to smell good too. So
and it like beats up the laundry, so it dries it faster too.
Yeah. And I'll use like an essential oil, so I'll put like lavender or whatever, lemon, whatever kind of essential oil you want on the balls. And not every time, like every 10 dries or something like that, I'll reload it.
And then what it does is it diffuses the essential oils into the air, so your house smells like it. I was just doing laundry this morning, and I had some doors open too in my house, so the breeze was blowing through, and it was blowing through lavender, because I do the same thing, you know, and it's doing that outside, so it's just, it's a really nice practice.
And just, there's so many, we waste so much money on so many products, when really, like, the best moisturizer is a bottle of sesame oil or olive oil. Just rub it all over your skin.
Yeah.
You don't need anything fancy. You don't need, all these different...
Buying a really high quality oil like that is still going to be like 10 times cheaper than buying like a high quality skin cream that's going to be like $100. So like... enjoy and go big for like that nice oil. But. And
even as far as like cleaning products, all you really need, like, this is just vinegar with lemons diluted in it.
Yeah, exactly.
And that works as a cleaning product, which I love to use in my kitchen, especially because I know I'm going to be eating off of it.
Right. Yeah, vinegar, lemon, and baking soda. Those are, our grandmothers cleaned with them back in the day, and then all of these chemicals got popular, so then it switched over to that. There was no reason for that.
Because when we're cleaning with them and you're spraying them around, those particles are going up in the air, we're breathing them in, and there's more
You're
toxins
absorbing them. If you have kids or dogs or anything, they're licking them up, they're on them on the floor. It's just in the shower. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's intense. Going back to our skin though too, as the major detoxification organ, in the shower, Cara has her dry brush.
if you guys haven't dry brushed before, it is the most invigorating thing you can ever do. You can Google it, look up on how to dry brush, because there's actually a system, like you want to move in certain directions up towards the heart, right? And oh gosh, you guys, it feels so good. It's like the ultimate back scratch. It's like back scratch on steroids. Yeah. And you do this everywhere. So you do it in the shower when you're naked and or on the bathroom floor or whatever, put out a towel. And it's gonna not only exfoliate all of your skin, so it kind of like gets off that winter layer, it's also going to you're moving through your lymph system. So that's the reason you're moving the brush in certain directions, is because you're following your lymphatic system. And that, like we talked about, the lymph system is what gets rid of your garbage and moves your garbage through your body. And so you're just kind of pushing it along the way and getting that going. And,
yeah, so it's an Ayurvedic practice too.
Yes.
So yeah, it's really good for you, and this is the time in Ayurveda to do that. This is that time of year.
And another thing,
is to help your skin also detoxify are Epsom salt baths, right? So you're soaking in, this is like a cool charcoal one that Cara has. This is Epsom salts that you've probably seen. So that's just a magnesium-based sulfite salt. And so putting that in the bath, and so you're soaking in this warm water. It's opening up all your pores because your skin is constantly trying to detoxify. It's a two-way street. It's absorbing and letting go at the same time, right? So whatever we put on it, we want to make sure it's good, but then we also want to help it release. Exercise helps it release, right? When you're sweating, moving, right? You're also moving the lymphatic system, and then sitting it and soaking in a nice hot bath also helps. So that's a really good practice. And actually, I've been taking baths like almost every other day, like in the last month or so, because it's so, one, relaxing, but two, I've had this craving for it, and I feel the difference next day with the Epsom salts and everything. Like, I just feel clearer.
Even if you have cramping and stuff, that's a great practice as well.
Cramping and stuff.
And magnesium deficiency. There's so many reasons to do it.
Yeah. So that's a really good detoxification practice. Anything else?
So, if you have any questions?
Yeah, if you have questions, type them in right now. But on our website, we have, our recipes for a good detox smoothie. We have that master cleanse recipe on there too, if you want to take a look at that. But really just remember that this time of year is the time to cleanse, to keep things coming and moving in. It's all about moving, right? We're not just going to like stay sluggish. Get outside on those nice sunny days.
Even when you don't feel like it, especially when you don't feel like it.
I wasn't feeling super hot yesterday, and I did work in the sunshine, and I felt 100 times better. I hid from the wind because the wind was a little cold, and just absorbed the sun. So those are practices to start bringing in, because they're tiny, but they make a really, really big difference.
And use all the practices we talked about with these cleansing, because on that Monday, when I was feeling really sluggish, I was force myself to do that detox smoothie, even though that's what I wasn't reaching for. That wasn't what I thought I was craving, but I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do the smoothie. And I sat there and had it, and all of a sudden my energy slowly, I shouldn't say all of a sudden, it slowly just kind of lifted that weight. And I was able to get back on it. And now that I think about it, Sunday night was at my anniversary, and we cooked a big dinner. And we actually made lamb because we wanted a special dinner. And I wonder if that's why it made me feel sluggish.
I don't know, lamb is
so for the rest of the week. It's true. But for the rest of the week, I've been eating all vegetarian, and I haven't felt that heaviness. So.
Yeah, and today we are going to start recording hey Rachel, thanks for joining, girl. We're going to start recording our allergy episode.
Seasonal allergies.
Yeah. So
I suppose we should do food allergies at some point too, but we're going to focus on seasonal allergies because it's spring.
They are related, so I think we'll still talk about them. It's all liver related. We're going to talk more about that. And then this next week, look out for our sprout and seed episode, which is so awesome. We talk about the energy of the sprouts, why they're so good to eat, and seeds, and how they can actually naturally balance your hormones. So cool.
All right.
Well, that's it.
I think that's it for today. Thanks for joining us, you guys.
Thank you.
You are tried and true.
You are. We love all of you. Catherine, Rachel, and Tess. Thank you. All right. Love you guys. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.